All right, so hello everybody, Scott Brown here, and as some of you know and some of you are about to find out, I am the president and CEO of Kiron Partners, and we are a financial services firm here in Central Florida with 35 employees, 20 licensed advisors now, and about, what did I say, 35 staff? Did I mention that? About 35 in staff, so not to be redundant, a lot of people and about $1 billion in assets. So today with me is David Bilka. David has joined us 7 months ago, yes. I believe right before the pandemic, so I'm not sure if that's a coincidence or not, just saying. But David joins us from another firm. He's now 10 years in the business, is that correct? And has built an amazing practice. David is an educator at heart. Actually, he began his career teaching high school, right? Right. High school history. So he's well versed in what has happened and what is likely to happen. So David, thank you for joining us.
Hey, I'm happy to be here, ecstatic to be here actually. And it's month 7, and I don't know if I've told you, Scott, but I'm happy as a clam. All right. This is the very smart decision we made. And what drove it was, we were doing well. We had, I still have my own practice, DB Wealth Management. Sure. We were doing well and growing and successful practice, mature practice. But we realized that, we were a little bit much on the do-it-yourself financial planning firm. In other words, we had a team I was with and so forth, but I wasn't getting the support, I really needed. And so I started to look around, and Raymond James to me offered, robust resources that I wasn't getting, investment options that I wasn't getting, individual stock portfolios as an example. They have their own investment management team where they come up with their own models and so on. So before it was me. I was figuring it out on my own, of course, with resources, but having that additional resources just is valuable, very valuable. And the other thing too is we were looking for someone local where we could tap into the resources you had, and so that's why we chose you, and we took our time. We kicked a lot of tires. Sure, as you should. And what I like about your group, it's a really, and I tell this to my clients, it's a really fascinating combination of veteran leadership with you and Paul. You've both been in the business for 30 years, 30 plus years. 30-something years. You've seen now, what, 7 bear markets? Oh, it feels like more than that, but yes. Now, yeah. Yep. The world has nearly ended 7 times in my career, okay. Yes. All right. You've seen you've seen things come and go. One time this is the greatest thing to do, and then 5 years later it's the worst thing to do. Yeah. So you've seen a lot. You've been through a lot. And I also, I was also drawn that you guys have known each other that long as well. You didn't always work together, but you've known each other. But you've worked. The other thing though is you also have millennial advisors and staff, and I guess do. And what's the younger generation? They like? Well, you don't have the. I don't even remember what they're called. Z or something. You got me. My daughter will tell me. But you have the younger advisors and staff, and what struck me about them was, well, they understand the tech. They do. They understand upcoming trends that maybe you and I don't understand fully. That's fair. And I've already in my 7 months utilize your younger staff. I'm not sure if you're aware of it, but I have. Whereas before I would have been reluctant to do it, or have been all on my wife and I to figure it out. Right. And so I've been, so veteran leadership plus younger energy and technological savvy, and it's a really, interesting combination, and that's what drew us to you. And how is your client experience? Have your clients, so far in 7 months, have you found it to be somewhat, nothing seamless, but somewhat seamless, and they seem to appreciate the new resources? Yes, I've gotten a lot of good feedback on that, and I've just started to implement some of the new things that I have now at my disposal. Like I just started the whole goal planning and monitoring, right? was doing financial planning before. I was using different software. I still use it. It's not that it's bad or inferior, but the advantage of goal planning and monitoring is, clients are going to be able to see, go online and they can see their plan at any time. Mm-hmm. Any assets they have with Raymond James in-house, it's live data. Mm-hmm. So, when we have markets go down 40% in a month, mm-hmm. like we had in the first quarter, or close to that.
Right. I hadn't noticed, but go ahead.
Yeah. They can go, not that we're not having conversations, but they can go in and see, all right, we're looking for, a probability of success score between 70 and 90.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
And if they're at 85 and the markets are down whatever percent, and now they're at 83, they're still in good shape.
Yeah, and to lend background to that real quick, so we have a process or a technology, I guess, software called goal planning and monitoring. And really what it does, what you're referring to, is you'll sit down with a client, hopefully all of your clients over the next year or so, because I know you're still getting some people into the machine, and you run a scenario. Scott wants to retire in 5 years. He has $1 million in the bank. He saves $30,000 a year. He wants to go to Europe twice a year, blah, 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 buy a new car every 5 years. You throw all that into a blender, and it kicks out a success score, which means when they back tested that 1,000 times, 850 of those times you were good to go, or 200 times you were good to go. Obviously, in the latter case, you need to reevaluate what you're doing.
Sure.
What you're saying is, once you do that and put that in the system, and something occurs like a pandemic or 9/11, the client isn't just preoccupied with what the markets are doing, right?
Right.
They're actually going to go in and pull up their scores and say, well, I used to have 800, now I have 720. What does that do to my potential success? And if they dropped from 90 to 88, they're likely to go to bed that night and go, yeah, this is uncomfortable, but I'm fine. If their score drops from 90 to 60, then probably they were doing something wrong to begin with, mm-hmm. but at least they understand there's something they need to do, which is likely call you and have a conversation.
Sure. Right. And that's a financial plan, it goes out of date every year. And so you continually have to update it.
Sure.
And so that's when, so again, I was doing that before, but, you have to sit down with the client and print it out and go over it. And again, there's nothing wrong with that. I like being around people, but especially with COVID and a lack of, face-to-face contact, mm-hmm. It's good to have that additional tool. So that's, again, I'm just rolling that out as we speak.
So you find the technology is an upgrade for you?
Oh, yes. It's yes. And like you mentioned, this, did it go seamless or, having just simple, DocuSign,
mm-hmm.
which I didn't have before,
right.
Has made it, a client wants to set up an ACH, electronic withdrawal or deposit.
Sure.
It's just fill out the form, send it to them, do a couple clicks, and it's done.
Yeah.
They want to change a beneficiary, a couple clicks, they sign it, it's done.
Yeah.
It's just very, very, very nice.
Well, good. Well, again, we're glad to have you. I mean, our firm continues to grow. It's not, we're not growing willy-nilly. We're not just saying whoever wants to join us. So I want you to know that, we're obviously pleased to have you, and we want top-notch talent at our firm. It's what we try to do. We're a little particular about who we let in and who we don't.
Sure.
I think, Raymond James is a great firm to back you up. There are a lot of good firms out there. I'm not one of those people that says there are only one good firm. Raymond James is amongst the best in terms of culture and putting the client first. And I know, it's funny, this putting the client first thing seems to be in vogue. Like we have the fiduciary rule now, which says, you have to act in the client's best interest. And I'm thinking to myself, I've been doing this 32 years. This should not be a revelation to anyone. What were we doing before?
Yeah.
If you don't put the client first, you're not going to have a client for long, is kind of the way I look at it. We're all in business and we have families to support and bills to pay just like everybody else. But it's a good symbiotic relationship, and I think Raymond James supports that notion quite a bit.
Yeah, just something to add, whereas it was important, from day one when we entered this profession, I wanted to be independent. And what that means is, the client and I are on the same team. I'm not an employee of a company.
Right.
When you're an employee of a company, which again, a lot of people are employees of companies, nothing wrong with that. But in our profession, when you're an employee of a company, then your loyalty has to be to the company. Mm-hmm. Inevitably, they're going to have you promote things that they want you to promote. And so even though Raymond James is a brand, and they have the vast resources I was looking for, but they do allow an independent channel, and that's what you are, and that's is what we chose. So in my mind, it's the best of both worlds.
So going forward, what do you think your clients should expect in terms of continued improvement in the service they're getting?
Well, we're going to be more efficient with what we're doing things. I mentioned the financial planning element of it. We're integrating that. The options I have with, I've been diving into, okay, let me look at the models I was using before. Let's now compare what the options I have with Raymond James. Can we improve on that? Sure. And that is something that got delayed a little bit because of COVID. Yep. But I'm really excited about it. Yep. I've already moved clients, and some of them already in that direction. But others are coming as we speak. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Is it fair to say that clients should expect to hear from you on some of these new things that are coming out, and they should really put effort into meeting with you, because I think there's a lot of cool new stuff you're going to be talking to them about. Yeah, and some of them I've already done that, but yes, in terms of it's a gradual process. Yeah. But yes, that's coming, and I think you told me when when we initially met, even before right when I joined, and whenever you join a new firm and you move all your clients over, it's kind of, you're in a fog. Yeah. Oh yeah. It's pretty crazy. Yeah. And I was, I'm just kind of one of these, when there's, I'm like a lifelong learner type, and I'm excited about all these different things. And you said, hey, look, you got to take a little bit of a deep breath. It's probably going to take you about 2 years to really fully integrate into everything. Right. Agreed. And so that's where I'm trying not to overwhelm clients with everything, and also overwhelm ourselves. Yeah, well, you're excited, and that's the one thing I know about you, is you're excited about what it means to your clients. I mean, client success is ultimately your success. That's kind of how it works, and I'm sure you know that. But you're also, at the same time, it's going to take you a couple years to figure it all out and get in your groove. You're like a kid at a candy store. You're like, I have all this cool stuff I can show to these people. But you have to take your time with that, and hopefully, not hopefully, I'm certain your clients are going to appreciate seeing those things. So we're super excited to have you. We're super excited to have your clients on board, and our team, as you and I have discussed, is your team. And I think one last thought to leave your clients with, and people who are watching this, is that you're supported now. Yes. There are people behind you, so you actually are allowed to take a vacation, by the way, now, and not have to worry that your clients they may have an administrative need or a cash flow need or whatever, or just a simple question. You have a team behind you to answer those questions. And if I could just back that up for a moment, one final comment is, and this is a live case of that, where COVID hit us, and in our, we're a people business. We're all about being in front of people. And I do my classes, I'm in front of people, and now that was taken away. What do we do? Mm-hmm. And I saw, we have like the professional version of Zoom, and I barely knew what Zoom was. Right. And again, I wasn't born with an iPad in my crib, so I didn't naturally get excited about Zoom. Yeah. But being part of your team, there were 3 people, actually, I would actually say 4, and then 5 if I include a tech person from Raymond James. So 5 people helped me to figure the Zoom meetings out. I just did a Zoom webinar on Medicare planning. Your team helped me with that. Yeah. And the retirement planning class that I teach at UCF and Lake Sumter State College, there are no live classes right now, so in the fall we're gonna do that by a Zoom webinar. So that's just a perfect example where something was actually already in place for a pandemic that now a lot of us had to learn it pretty quick. Sure. Yeah. But the tool was there. Yeah. Which before I wouldn't have had that. And, so anyway. Well, I'm glad to hear that. That's exciting. Well, everybody, David Bilka, I know most of you know who he is that are watching this, but we're excited to have him and the new clients on board with us. Scott Brown, ScottCast the podcast. We'll see you next time.